I will repeat my previous discussions on vested interest and contingent interest. Already you are aware that in a transfer, an interest is always created in favor of the transferee. That interest may be absolute interest or a limited interest. Section 5 of the Transfer Property Act provides or defines what is transfer of property. Transfer of property is an act by which a living person conveys property in present or in future to another living person. So, property may be conveyed either in present or in future. So, vested interest arises when property is conveyed in future, in present, not in future. So, that's why Section 19 says, so if the section from Section 5, this interest can be created at present or in future. When an interest is created or conveyance is made in present, that is the transferee acquires a vested interest. When property is conveyed in future, in such case the transferee gets an contingent interest. Property will be transferred in future. So now vested interest has been defined there. What it says, when on a transfer of property an interest is created without specifying the time when it will take effect, or that it will take effect forthwith, or that it will take effect on the happening of an event which must happen, then in such case the transferee gets a vested interest in that property. You are aware, suppose a X transfer property, and this transfer may not be always absolute transfer. Transfer may be limited transfer. So property is transferred and no time is mentioned in the contract when the transferee will get interest in the property. In such case, the transferee has a vested interest in the property. Similarly, a property is transferred with a condition that in the contract that there is a condition that the transferee will get the property forthwith. In such case, the transferee has a vested interest in that property. Similarly, if a property is transferred with a condition that transfer will get the property on the happening of an event which must happen, then suppose X transfer property to Y with condition that after the death of his wife he will get the property. So here that is also because the event, that is the death of his wife, must happen. So that's why it is called vested interest. Contingent interest means an interest when an interest is created in a transfer on the happening or non-happening of an uncertain event, then that is called contingent interest. So contingent interest on the happening, X transfer property to Y, his daughter, on condition, with condition that if she will marry a boy of his caste, then she will get the property. So here, that is the interest of the daughter of X on that property is a contingent interest, because contingent interest will become vested interest if it depends on the happening of an event. Then if that event happens, then the interest of the transferee becomes vested interest in the property. Similarly, when a contingent interest is created on the non-happening of an event, then in such case, the transferee gets a vested interest in the property if that event doesn't happen or happening of that event becomes impossible. So, previously we have also discussed. So, contingent, most of the time you get a question, what are the differences between vested interest and contingent interest? So, vested interest is present interest, but contingent interest is a future interest. Vested interest is heritable, but contingent interest is not heritable. Both vested interest and contingent interest are transferable. Both vested interest and contingent interest are transferable. Vested interest can be, but here this vested interest can be sold and attached, but contingent interest cannot be sold or cannot be attached. So these are the differences between vested interest and contingent interest. In previous classes, we had covered up to section 22 of the Transfer Property Act. Now we should discuss the provisions of Transfer Property Act regarding the contingent interest in section 23. What it says: transfer contingent on happening of specified uncertain event. Wherein a transfer of property, an intent therein is to accrue to a specified person if a specified uncertain event shall happen and no time is mentioned for the occurrence of that event, the interest fails unless such event happens before or at the same time as the intermediary or precedent interest ceases to exist. That means in a transfer, a contingent interest is created in favor of the transferee, specifying that an uncertain event shall happen, and in such transfer and that property has been transferred to an intermediary, then prior to cessation of the intermediary interest, that specified uncertain event must happen. Otherwise, that will fail. What it says? Where on a transfer property, an interest therein is to accrue to a specified person. A property has been transferred with the condition that interest will accrue to a specified person. If a specified uncertain event shall happen, and no time is mentioned for the occurrence of that event, there is no time is prescribed, no time is provided in the contract that within which that event will happen, the interest fails unless such event happens before or at the same time the intermediary or precedent interest ceases to exist. Suppose X transfers a property to B for life, and with a condition that if C, his son, will return from England during his lifetime, then he will get the property. Suppose prior to return of C, his son B died. So in such case, such contingent interest fails. Reason is that no property will remain without ownership for a particular time, for any period. So that's why when an intermediary interest is created and before cessation of that no time is prescribed during which that contingent interest or that event will happen, and if that event does not happen prior to cessation of the intermediary interest, then that contingent interest also fails. That also fails. So this is section 23. Section 24 says transfer to such of certain persons. What it says? As survive at some period not specified. So it is a transfer where on a transfer of property an interest therein is to accrue to such of certain persons as shall be surviving at some period. That if a transfer is made, so illustration will survive certain period, but the exact period is not specified. Surviving by certain at a certain period, but the exact period is not specified. The interest shall go to such of them as shall be alive when the intermediate or precedent interest ceases to exist, unless a contrary intention appears from the terms of the transfer. What the illustration says? A transfers property to B for life, and after his death to C and D, which will be equally divided between them, with a further condition, or to the survivor of them, or to the survivor of them. Suppose survivor means C and D, who will survive? If C dies, then D will get, or if dies, C will get. So A transfer property to B for life, and after his death. After his death means after the death of B, the property will go equally to C and D, or if any of them survives the other, then that person will get the property absolutely. So here, if C dies during the lifetime of B, if C dies during the lifetime of D, D survives B. So here, D survives B. At B's death, the property passes to D. So this is the illustration given in section 24 will make it clear. That means where a property is transferred, and interest therein is to accrue to such of certain persons as shall be surviving at a certain period. The interest will go to some person who will be surviving at a certain period, but the period, exact period is not mentioned. Exact period is not mentioned in the transfer. Then the interest shall go to such of them as shall be living, that means as shall be surviving, when the intermediary or precedent interest cease to exist. When intermediary or by the time of cessation of the intermediary or precedent interest, which the person who is surviving, he will get the property unless a contrary intention appears from the terms of the transfer. This is in nutshell, that is section 24. Probably you will find some difficulty to understand the provisions in section 23 and 24. That is, section 23 deals an interest therein is to accrue to a specified person. If a specified uncertain event shall happen and no time is mentioned for the occurrence. So the interest fails unless such event happens before the cessation of the intermediary. In both the cases, both the sections, that there must be intermediary, and interest is created in favor of an intermediary. Then after the death of that intermediary, the property will go to certain persons. So, or if an uncertain event shall happen, so if that uncertain event must happen prior to cessation of the intermediary interest. If that doesn't happen, then that interest ceases. Now, condition precedent. What is condition? In transfer is a contract. Transfer property, by that a person enters a contract with another person by conveying the property in present or future to another living person. One living person conveys property. So that transfer may be subject to any condition. That doesn't mean it is not necessary that the transferor is bound to transfer the property without any condition. It is his will. He may put any condition as he likes. So that is why in a transfer, the transferor may put a condition before creation of interest in favor of the transfer. So when a condition may be either a condition precedent or condition subsequent or a collateral condition. What is condition precedent? Condition precedent is that which condition is to be fulfilled before the transferee gets an interest in the property. That is called condition precedent. For an example, if X transfers property to B, his daughter, with a condition that she will get that property if she will marry Z, a groom of his choice. So here there is a condition precedent. So this daughter B is daughter B will get the property if the condition precedent, that is she marries the groom of the choice of his father, as per the choice of his father. So it is a condition precedent. So condition precedent. Condition subsequent means first a property is transferred and interest is created in favor of a particular person, putting a condition that if a particular event happens, or if it does something, or if a particular act is done by that person, or if a particular event happens, then the property will go to another person. Sometimes, or a property is given putting a condition that if you will not do it, then you will not get the property. This is called condition subsequent. So collateral condition is that it runs along with the contract. For an example, X gives lease of a house to Y with a condition that so long he will remain in possession of the house, he will get the benefit of lease. This is a collateral condition. So condition may be of three types, that is condition precedent, condition subsequent, and collateral condition. Section 25 of the Transfer of Property Act provides some of the conditions precedent which are void. If such a condition is put, then such transfer is void. What are those conditions? That has been mentioned in section 25. What it says? Which conditions are void, and if those conditions are put, those transfers are void. What it says? An interest created on a transfer of property and dependent upon a condition fails. That when interest created in a transfer of property will fail if the fulfillment of the condition is impossible. If there is a condition precedent, the fulfillment of which is impossible, that in such case the interest created in favor of the transferee fails. Suppose A transfers a particular land to Y with a condition that he will get that property if he will run at a speed of 100 miles per hour. So here this condition is impossible. So in such case the transferee doesn't get any interest in the property, because an interest created on a transfer of property, an interest is created in favor of the transfer on dependent upon a condition, that interest fails if the fulfillment of the condition is impossible, because the fulfillment of that condition precedent which is impossible or is forbidden by law. Law forbids various acts. Suppose X transfers a property to Y with a condition that he will get that property if he will commit murder of Z. So in such case, that is forbidden by law. That condition is forbidden by law. So in such case, that interest of the transferee fails, or is of such a nature that he permitted it to defeat the provision of any law. Defeat the provision of any law means what? That suppose X transfers a property to Y with a condition that if he will transfer his license or excise license to him. So here that is forbidden by law, or defeat the provision of law. That is the defeat the provision of. Or is fraudulent. What is fraudulent? Fraudulent means creating a fraudulent document or a forged document. Fraudulent. What is that? X transfers a property to B, who is the agent of C, with condition that he will get the property if he will give a false receipt on behalf of C. So that is a fraudulent condition. So in such case the interest will fail. Or involves of implies injury to the person on property of another. X transfer property to Y on condition that he will get that property, he will burn the house of Z. Here that implies an injury to another. Or the court regards it as immoral or opposed to public policy. Court regards it is immoral. Suppose X transfers a property to Y with a condition that he will give divorce to his wife. If he will give divorce to his wife, he will get the property. So this is opposed to public policy. So section 25 says condition precedents which are the fulfillment of such of which is impossible. If a condition precedent, maybe they are in a transfer. If the condition precedent is such that cannot be fulfilled, as it is impossible, or it is opposed to law, or it will defeat the provision of law, it is fraudulent, or it involves or implies injury to the person or property of another, or the court regards it as immoral or opposed to public policy, in such case that the interest also fails. That means the transferee will not get any interest in that property. The illustration will make you clear. A lets a farm to B on condition he shall walk 100 miles in an hour. Here this condition precedent, that is walking at a speed of 100 miles per hour, is impossible. So in such case we will not get any interest in that property. A gives Rs 500 to B on condition he shall marry A's daughter C. At the date of the transfer C was dead, because it is impossible, because C is dead on the date of transfer. How can B will marry C? So the transfer is void. A transfers are 500 to B on condition that C shall murder C. This is opposed to law. So this condition, this transfer is void. A transfers are 500 to his niece C. If she will desert her husband, the transfer is void. Now you must have understood the provisions in section 25 of the Transfer Property Act. What it says, that when a condition precedent, there is a condition precedent substantially before the transferee gets an interest. Section 26 says, where the terms of a transfer of property imposes a condition to be fulfilled before a person can take an interest in the property, the condition shall be deemed to have been fulfilled if it has been substantially complied. What do you mean by substantially? As a whole. As a whole it has been complied. So there is some leniency in law for getting property if there is a condition precedent is put in a transfer. What section says? Illustration will make you clear. What it says? A transfers 5,000 to B on condition that he will get that property if he shall marry with the consent of C, D and E. Suppose E is dead, but B married with the consent of C and D. In such case, the transfer will not fail because it has been substantially complied. What do you mean by substantially? There is the two conditions. Substantially. Condition precedent, if substantially complied, then in such case, the transferee will get an interest. So, this is the provision. So, another illustration is there. A transfers 5,000 to B on condition he shall marry with the consent of C, D and E. B marries without the consent of C, D and E, but obtains their consent after the marriage. In such case, the condition precedent has not been fulfilled, has not been complied substantially. Then in such case, you will not get any interest in the property. So you should understand the provisions that when there is a condition precedent means the condition is to be fulfilled before the transferee gets an interest in the property. That is condition precedent. When there is a condition precedent and if that has been substantially complied by the transferee, then he will get interest in the property. The illustration. But if he has not yet complied, then he will not. But that means totally he has not complied. So that will not be ground. Or that will not, even subsequently complies, that will not give any interest to the transferee. Condition precedent, section 25 makes it clear that such of the condition precedent, if these condition precedents are there, such transfers are void. But section 26 says, if there is a condition precedent is to be fulfilled, then if that condition precedent has been substantially complied, then the transferee will get interest in that property. Now, this section 27 is a provision. What it is also a very important provision. Sometimes it is called as it is applicable. Or a doctrine is applicable, that is doctrine of acceleration. Doctrine of acceleration. Acceleration means will go ahead, accelerate. What it says? Conditional transfer to one person coupled with transfer to another on failure of a prior disposition. There may be a transfer coupled with to one person, coupled with a condition that property will be transferred to another person on failure of the prior disposition. Where on a transfer of property, an interest therein is created in favor of one person. There is a transfer of property, first an interest is created in favor of one person, and by the same transaction is very important. In that contract, in that transaction, an ulterior disposition of the same interest is made in favor of another. First, there is a transfer to one person, and in that transaction, there is a condition that if a particular event happens, then in such case, that the first transfer will fail, and that will go, the property will go to another person. And that means when there is in a transfer of property, and the interest therein is created in favor of one person, and in the same transaction, an ulterior disposition of the same interest is made in favor of another, if the prior disposition under the transfer shall fail. That means the ulterior disposition will be made if the prior disposition under the transfer shall fail. The ulterior disposition shall take effect upon the failure of the prior disposition. Although the failure may not have occurred in the manner contemplated by the transferor. What section 27 says? That there is a transfer. In the transfer, that interest is created in favor of a person. imposing a condition that there will be an ulterior transfer. That means there will be a second transfer to another person if a particular event will happen. Then in such case, if the prior disposition under the transfer shall fail, the prior disposition shall fail, the ulterior disposition shall take effect on the failure of the prior disposition, though the failure may not have occurred in the manner contemplated by the transferor. This section is popularly known as doctrine of acceleration. What is doctrine of acceleration? Acceleration means changing the speed, velocity. Changing the acceleration means changing the velocity of a speed. So what the illustration says, A transfers 500 to B on condition that he shall execute a certain lease deed within 3 months after A's death. And if he shall neglect to do so, then the property will go to C. Here B dies during the lifetime of A. So in such case, the disposition in favor of C takes place because the prior disposition fails. So what? An ulterior disposition is made in the same interest is made in favor of another if the prior disposition under the transfer shall fail. Here the prior disposition shall fail on the ground that B died during the lifetime of A. So it is not possible, it will not be possible that B will execute a lease deed within 3 months. So this is section 27. But if the intention of the parties to the transaction is that the ulterior disposition shall take effect only in the event of the prior disposition failing in a particular manner. If the prior disposition will fail in a particular manner, then the ulterior disposition shall take effect. In such event, the ulterior disposition will not take effect unless the prior disposition fails in that manner. The second illustration will make you clear that A transfer property to his wife, but in case she should die in his lifetime, if the wife will die during the lifetime of A, then the property will go to another person. A and his wife perish together under the circumstances which make it impossible to prove that she died before him. Then the disposition in favor of the another person does not take place. This is popularly known as doctrine of acceleration because the prior disposition fails. So thereby, though it has not been, though the failure is not in a particular manner, but there is failure of the prior disposition, in such case, the ulterior disposition will take effect. Now coming to section 28, ulterior transfer conditional on happening or non-happening of a specified event. There is a prior disposition putting a condition that due to happening or non-happening of a particular event, there will be ulterior disposition. So you should understand what is prior disposition and ulterior. First, the property is given to one person, putting a condition. If you will not perform a particular act, or if you will perform a particular act, the property will go to another person. The second transfer is called ulterior disposition. So here, the section 28 says, on a transfer of property, an interest therein may be created to accrue to any person with the condition superadded that in case a specifiable uncertain event shall happen, such interest shall pass to another, or that in case a specified uncertain event shall not happen, such interest shall pass to another person. So this is, but in all such cases, the disposition are subject to the rule contained in section 10, 12, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 and 27 of the Transfer Property Act. What section 10 says? Condition restraining alienation. Suppose a property is transferred to Mr. X by Y, putting a condition. If X will attempt to alienate, then that property will go to Z. This, if X attempt to alienate that property, then the property will not go to Z because it is hit by the provisions of section 10 of the Transfer Property Act. Similarly, in section 25, there is condition precedent that which is forbidden. That is, if a condition precedent in getting the property is opposed to public policy, is against law, is impossible, forbidden by law, fraudulent, or that means will cause injury to another person, then such condition precedent are void. In such case, no transfer will take place in favor of the person. So, that means, so if an ulterior disposition will take place, if such a condition takes place, then such a condition if happens also, then there will be no ulterior disposition. Because what the provisions, section 28, it clearly provides that in each case, the disposition are subject to the rules contained in sections 10, 12, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 and 27. That means the ulterior disposition will not take effect if there is a prior disposition putting a condition which is hit by the provisions of section 12, section 10, section 21, 23, 24, 25, 26 and 27. Now, coming to the provisions of section 29, fulfillment of conditions subsequent, an ulterior disposition on the kind contemplated by the last preceding section. Last preceding section means that is section 26, 27, 28. So, an ulterior disposition of the kind contemplated in the last preceding sections cannot take effect unless the condition is strictly fulfilled. So, why such a provision is there? Because they divest the interest of somebody. First, an interest is created in favor of a person in a transfer, putting a condition that if a particular event happens, that property will go to another person. Or if a particular event will not happen, that the property will go to another person. So thereby, by happening of such event, the ulterior transfer will take place. Thereby, the proper interest which has been vested with a person, that will be divested to another person. So, it is the rule that for to divest the interest, putting because of non-fulfillment of a particular condition of a transfer, then there will be strict non-fulfillment. That means strict rule will be applicable. That means strictly fulfilled. If a condition is to be fulfilled, then the property will be divested to another person. The interest in the property will be divested to another person. So that's why section 29 says, because an interest has been created in favor of one person, so that interest should not be divested unless the condition for such divesting of the interest is strictly compliant. So that's why the illustration says, A transfers 500 to B to be paid to him on his attaining majority or marrying, with a proviso that if he dies a minor or marries without his consent, then Rs 500 shall go to D. B marries when only 17 years of age without his consent, the transfer to D takes effect. So this is the provision. So strictly fulfilled, a condition subsequent must be strictly fulfilled. You should remember condition precedent must be substantially complied. Before getting interest in the property transfer, if there is a condition precedent, that condition precedent, if substantially complied, then the transferee will get interest in that property. Previously we have discussed the illustration. Suppose A transfers property to B, putting a condition that he will get that property if she will marry with the consent of D, E and F. Suppose F is dead, then B married with the consent of D and E. So there the substantially complied the condition precedent. So that's why you will get the interest. So once an interest has been given to a transferee, putting a condition that interest will be divested due to happening of an event or due to non-happening of an event, then for divesting of that interest, that event should happen in the manner as contemplated in the transfer. There will be strict compliance to the rule. So a breach of condition subsequent on account of duress does not result in forfeiture of the interest. Sometimes when there is a condition that on the happening of a condition subsequent, the property will go to another person. Because of the duress or because of pressure or because of some fear caused by the person who will get the property as an ulterior transferee, the condition could not be complied. So in such case, the property will not be transferred to the ulterior transferee. So this is section 29. Section 30 says, prior disposition not affected by invalidity of ulterior disposition. As because ulterior disposition is not valid, thereby the prior disposition is not affected. What is a small section? If the ulterior disposition is not valid, when the ulterior disposition is not valid, the prior disposition is not affected by it. A transfers a farm to B for her life, and if she does not desert her husband to C, B is entitled to the farm during her life as if no condition has been inserted. Because the ulterior disposition is not valid, because the condition putting that this, if she will not desert, the property will go to C. So in such case, prior disposition will not be affected if the that means the ulterior disposition is not valid. So this section 31 says, condition that transfer shall cease to have effect in case specified uncertain event happen or does not happen. Subject to the provision of section 12 on a transfer property, an interest therein may be created with the condition superadded that it shall cease to exist in case a specified uncertain event shall happen or in case a specified uncertain event shall not happen. This section 31 gives an option to the transferor that he may put a condition that the transferee will cease to get interest in the property if a particular event happens or a particular does not happen. But subject to the provision of section 12. Section 12 says what? Attempt, that means insolvency. Insolvency, attempted alienation, that is, there is a provision in section 12 that there cannot be a condition that the interest of the transferee will cease when he will become insolvent. So here, subject to the provision of section 12, there may be a condition in a transfer that the interest of the transferee in property will cease, or if a specified uncertain event shall happen, or in case of a specified uncertain event shall not happen. What its illustration says? A transfers a farm to B for his life with a proviso that in case B cuts down a certain wood, the transfer shall cease to have any effect. B cuts down the wood, he loses his life interest in the farm, because by putting a condition that is the transferor has contemplated for cessation of the interest of the transferee. A transfers a farm to B, provided if B shall not go to England within 3 years after the date of the transfer, his interest in the farm shall cease. Suppose a transfer is made, but with putting a condition that if B will not go to England within 3 years, then from the date of transfer, his interest will cease. B does not go to England within the term prescribed, his interest in the farm ceases. So this is called condition of defeasance. In Indian law, a gift corresponds to the term of this section and is a condition superadded to a transfer of property that the interest should cease in case of ceasefire on certain events shall not happen. So here, that is, an option is given to the transferor that he may put a condition in a transfer that the transferee interest will cease if a particular event will happen or particular event will not happen. But that is subject to the provisions of section 12 of the Transfer of Property Act. Now let us conclude our session. In the next classes, we will discuss the other provisions. Thank you.